Let me say this clearly. If you have to beg, plead, or persuade a woman to be with you, you've already lost. Nothing kills attraction faster than a man trying to convince a woman he's worthy of her attention. Think about it. When was the last time you admired someone who was chasing validation? Exactly. Persuasion doesn't spark love, it triggers pity, and no man should want to be in a relationship built on charity. Here's the harsh truth. Women don't fall for men they feel sorry for. They want men who exude confidence, independence, and self-respect. When you start convincing her to stay or love you, what you're really saying is, "I'm not good enough on my own, but please give me a chance anyway." That's not a message of strength, it's one of desperation, and desperation is repelling. Think about the strongest relationships you've seen. Did those men ever grovel for love? Or were they firm in who they were, letting the woman decide on her own? Women crave men who are secure in their identity. If she feels like you're dependent on her decision for your happiness, she'll see you as weak, and once that happens, her interest will vanish like smoke. Now, you might wonder, if I don't persuade her, what do I do instead? That's exactly what we'll uncover. Here's a hint. It's not about being rude or dismissive. It's about positioning yourself as the prize. A man who values himself doesn't need to beg. He walks away with dignity and lets his absence speak louder than words. This video isn't for men who want to manipulate or trick women into liking them. It's for men who want to command respect and build connections based on mutual admiration. The answer isn't in convincing her. It's in changing how you show up as a man. Stay tuned, because what comes next might just reshape how you approach every relationship from now on. 1. Stop chasing, start living. Too many men make the mistake of chasing after a woman as if their life depends on it. This is a huge turnoff, and it's one of the biggest reasons why women lose interest. When you chase someone, it sends the message that your value comes from them. This is wrong. A man's worth should never be tied to a woman's approval. Instead of chasing, focus on living your life. Be the man who's already full, who doesn't need validation from anyone. When you stop chasing and start living for yourself, things change. You begin to radiate a natural confidence. Women are drawn to this because it shows you have a life outside of them. It shows you're secure and grounded, which is incredibly attractive. Take a guy who loves his work, his passions, and his friends. He isn't looking for approval from anyone, especially not a woman. He enjoys his life, and because of that, people, including women, are naturally attracted to him. There's no desperation, no need to convince anyone to like him. He's too busy living the life he's building. Here's an example. Imagine a man who has a hobby he's deeply passionate about, like photography or playing an instrument. He spends his time improving his skills, attending events, and being around people who share his interests. One day, he meets a woman he's interested in, but he doesn't change who he is to impress her. Instead, he invites her to join him at an event related to his hobby. He isn't focused on what she thinks of him. He's enjoying his passion and letting her see a glimpse of the life he's built. The woman, seeing his passion and confidence, becomes genuinely intrigued, not because he chased her, but because he was already living a full, interesting life. The key here is that by not chasing her, you're showing her that you're a man who has his own life, his own goals, and his own purpose. Women want a man who doesn't need them to feel complete. When you stop chasing, you start living, and that's when the magic happens. 2. Desperation is not attractive. Desperation is one of the biggest killers of attraction. When you act desperate for a woman's attention, you immediately diminish your value in her eyes. Why? Because desperation signals weakness. It says you don't believe you're good enough on your own, so you're overcompensating by trying too hard to win her over. Women are instinctively repelled by this because they're drawn to strength, confidence, and stability, not neediness. The truth is, desperation comes across in more ways than you might realize. Constantly texting her, seeking her approval, or trying to spend every waking moment with her are clear signs of desperation. When you behave like this, you're putting her on a pedestal, and no one wants to be with someone who worships them to the point of losing self-respect. Instead of being desperate, focus on becoming self-assured. Confidence isn't about arrogance or pretending you're something you're not. It's about knowing your worth and not seeking external validation. A man who doesn't need a woman's approval to feel good about himself is far more appealing than one who constantly seeks reassurance. Picture this. A man starts dating someone he's really into. Every time she doesn't respond to his text within an hour, he sends another one. When she cancels plans because she's busy, he panics and immediately starts asking when she's free again. Over time, she notices that he's overly eager, and instead of feeling flattered, she feels overwhelmed and smothered. His desperation makes her lose interest, and eventually she pulls away. Now consider another man in the same situation. When she doesn't reply right away, he doesn't think twice about it. He knows she's busy, and he's got his own life to focus on. When plans fall through, he doesn't chase her for the next available date. He uses the time to work on his goals or hang out with friends. His calm, composed attitude shows her he's not desperate for her attention. She begins to respect him more, and her interest grows because he's confident enough to give her space. Desperation pushes women away, but confidence draws them closer. Always remember, being calm, composed, and self-assured is far more attractive than chasing her validation. 3. The power of walking away. Walking away is one of the strongest moves you can make as a man. It's not about being cold or manipulative. It's about showing self-respect. When a woman senses that you're willing to walk away from something that doesn't serve you, it communicates confidence and independence. These are traits that women admire because they're rare in a world full of men desperate for attention. Think about it. When you stay in a situation where you're not valued, you're essentially telling her that you'll tolerate anything just to be around her. This doesn't inspire respect or attraction. It invites her to take you for granted. Walking away isn't about punishing her, it's about setting a standard for how you want to be treated. Most men are afraid to walk away because they think it will mean losing the woman forever. But the reality is, when you walk away, you shift the power dynamic. Suddenly, she's forced to reevaluate how much she values you. The truth is, women are naturally drawn to men who stand firm in their boundaries. It's not a game, it's human psychology. When you're willing to walk away, you demonstrate that you're not afraid of losing her, and that makes you infinitely more desirable. Relatable? Imagine a time when you wanted something so badly that you clung to it even when it wasn't good for you. Maybe it was a job, a friendship, or a relationship. The harder you held on, the more frustrated you became because you weren't getting what you wanted. But the moment you let go, things started to shift. Suddenly, the other side began to notice your absence and took you more seriously. The same principle applies here. By walking away, you create space for her to realize your value. If she doesn't come back, then you've saved yourself from being in a situation where you were undervalued. Either way, you win. Walking away is powerful because it shows you're a man of principles. You're not chasing, begging, or compromising your self-respect. You're standing tall, and that's what sets you apart from the crowd. Women don't want a man who clings. They want a man who knows his worth. 4. Be the prize, not the beggar. One of the most important shifts a man can make is changing how he views himself in relation to a woman. Too often, men place women on a pedestal, thinking that they're the ones with all the value. This mindset sets you up to fail because it immediately makes you appear less confident and dependent. The truth is, you are the prize in any relationship. And once you start seeing yourself that way, everything changes. When you act like you're the prize, you stop chasing her approval and instead focus on making sure she values you. You start to understand that your worth isn't dependent on her choices or attention. It's inherent in who you are. This shift in thinking will change the way you approach her, the way you behave around her, and the way she responds to you. Being the prize doesn't mean being arrogant or self-centered. It's about recognizing that you deserve to be treated with respect. It's about knowing your boundaries and not tolerating anything less than what you deserve. When you believe you're the prize, you don't beg for attention. You don't beg for affection. You don't beg for her time. Instead, you put yourself in situations where she has to earn your attention and affection, just like anyone else would have to. A woman is far more likely to appreciate you when she sees that you're not chasing her to fill an emotional void. She'll respect you more because she knows you're someone who has a life of his own, with goals, passions, and a sense of purpose. When she sees you as a prize, she understands that being with you is something she has to earn, not something she can take for granted. This doesn't mean you have to play games or be aloof. It simply means you stop undervaluing yourself. You're a man of integrity, confidence, and self-worth, and any woman who wants to be with you has to recognize that. She needs to prove she's worthy of your time, not the other way around. Being the prize isn't about being perfect or having it all together. It's about believing in your own value. When you do, women will naturally start to see you as someone worth pursuing, rather than someone who's always trying to get their attention. 5. Women want a challenge, not a sure thing. Wake up, guys. If you think being a predictable nice guy is what's going to win her over, you're seriously mistaken. Women don't want a man who's always available, always saying yes, and always doing whatever it takes to please them. That's boring. That's predictable. And let's face it, predictable is the last thing that sparks real attraction. Here's the reality check. Women want a challenge. They want someone who doesn't just hand them everything on a silver platter. They don't want a man who's so easy to figure out that they lose interest in the first few weeks. If you're the kind of guy who's always at her beck and call, you're giving her no reason to chase you, to fight for your attention, or to even value you. The relationship becomes one-sided, and no woman wants that. Now, don't get this twisted. A challenge doesn't mean playing games or being rude. It means having your own life, your own interests, and your own boundaries. It means being the kind of man who isn't available every time she calls or texts. It means making her work for your attention, respect, and time. When you do this, you show her that you're not just a sure thing. You're a man who has options, who has a life that doesn't revolve around her. Let's be honest. Some of you guys are so desperate for attention that you'll go out of your way to please a woman even when she isn't giving you the same effort in return. You might think that if you just keep being nice or showering her with affection, eventually she'll fall for you. But that's not how it works. It's time to wake up and realize that women don't fall for men who are always there when they need them. They fall for the men who have the strength and the independence to live their lives and make her work for their attention. When you stop being so easy to figure out, when you start setting boundaries and making her chase you a little, that's when the attraction starts to build. This isn't about playing games. It's about showing her that you have value, and your time and energy aren't something she gets by simply asking. You're not a freebie. You're the prize. And once you start acting like it, you'll see how quickly things start to shift. 6. Confidence isn't about words, it's about action. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many men think it's about saying the right things, boasting about their achievements, or acting overly cocky. But the truth is, confidence isn't what you say, it's what you do. Women can see through empty words in seconds. Real confidence is displayed through consistent actions, not flashy talk. Think about it. A man who tells everyone he's confident but constantly seeks approval is only fooling himself. Confidence isn't about announcing how great you are, it's about quietly proving it. It's in the way you carry yourself, the way you handle challenges, and how you stay calm under pressure. Words can be deceptive, but actions never lie. A confident man doesn't need to explain himself. He doesn't need to beg for validation or force people to notice him. His actions naturally show his self-assurance. Whether it's taking a stand for what he believes in or pursuing his goals without fear of failure, his confidence is rooted in his ability to act, not in his ability to talk. Here's something men need to hear. Women don't care about your promises, they care about your follow-through. Telling her you'll be successful someday doesn't mean anything if you're not working on it. Saying you're different from other guys is meaningless if you're constantly second-guessing yourself or acting insecure. Confidence shows when you stop explaining yourself and start living in alignment with your values. You've seen it before. A guy who isn't traditionally handsome, wealthy, or overly charming still gets attention from women. Why? Because he acts confidently in every situation. He doesn't overthink his moves, and he doesn't try to be someone he's not. His confidence isn't loud, but it's undeniable. Now, let's address the guys who think being overly agreeable or seeking approval is the way to a woman's heart. Stop it. Women aren't attracted to men who bend over backward just to avoid conflict or make themselves likable. True confidence comes from standing firm in who you are, even if it means some people won't agree with you. Confidence in action looks like pursuing your passions, maintaining your boundaries, and showing up consistently. It's not about convincing her you're confident, it's about her witnessing it through how you live your life. Talk less, act more. That's what leaves a lasting impression. 7. Let her earn your attention. It's time to flip the script. Too many guys make the mistake of giving away their attention like it's some free gift, just because a woman shows interest. The reality is, your attention is valuable. It's one of the most powerful things you can offer, and it should never be handed out so easily. If you want to be respected, if you want her to value you, let her earn your attention. When you're constantly giving her your focus, you're placing her on a pedestal and putting yourself in a position where you're always chasing. You're essentially telling her that you're there for her whenever she needs you, regardless of how much effort she puts in. But the truth is, that's not how attraction works. Relationships are built on mutual respect, and respect isn't earned by one person always giving without receiving. Women are naturally drawn to men who are strong, independent, and don't just hand out their attention for free. If you're always available, always responding instantly, and always making her the center of your world, she'll begin to take you for granted. Why? Because she knows you'll always be there. And let's be honest, no one values what they don't have to work for. Here's the tough truth. If you want her to chase you, you need to stop chasing her. Withhold your attention when she hasn't shown that she's truly invested in you. Make her put in some effort. This doesn't mean you have to play games or act disinterested, but it does mean you have to set boundaries and not just give her everything without seeing if she's worthy of it. When she knows she has to earn your time and attention, you immediately shift the power dynamic. She starts to see that you have value and that you're not desperate to please her. That's when she starts to show more effort, more interest, and more respect. She'll start working harder to win your attention because she knows it's not freely given. This is how you build genuine attraction. Think about it. If a woman isn't putting in the effort to match your energy, why should you keep offering her yours? The moment you let her earn your attention, you stop being the chaser and start being the one who holds the power. And when that happens, the dynamic of the relationship changes. She begins to respect you more, and she'll likely want to be around you more. 8. Respect is more valuable than affection. A lot of men chase affection from women without realizing they're neglecting something far more important: respect. Sure, affection feels good, it's comforting, it strokes your ego, and it makes you feel wanted. But here's the truth: affection without respect is hollow, it's fleeting, and in the long run, it won't sustain a meaningful relationship. Respect is the foundation of real connection. It's what determines whether a woman sees you as a man she can admire, trust, and rely on. Without respect, affection becomes conditional. She might give you attention when it's convenient for her or when she wants something, but she won't value you on a deeper level. And when the affection fades, which it often does, what's left if there's no respect? Think about this. A woman can be affectionate towards someone she doesn't truly respect. She can smile, laugh, and even act loving. But if she doesn't respect you, it's all surface level. Respect is what drives her to genuinely care about your well-being, your goals, and your boundaries. It's what keeps her from taking you for granted or crossing lines. The mistake many men make is prioritizing affection over respect. They'll do whatever it takes to make her happy, even if it means sacrificing their values, opinions, or self-worth. They become yes men, thinking that constantly agreeing or being overly accommodating will win her over. But this only leads to her losing respect. When you don't stand up for yourself, when you don't have your own voice, she sees it. And deep down, she knows she can't fully trust or admire a man who doesn't respect himself. Here's the reality. When a woman respects you, affection will naturally follow. Respect creates a foundation where both of you can thrive. She'll value your time, listen to your thoughts, and support your decisions. She'll see you as someone worth investing in, not just someone to keep around for convenience. As a man, your goal should be to command respect, not by demanding it, but by living a life that earns it. Have standards, enforce boundaries, and show that you value yourself enough not to settle for less. Respect comes first, and once you have that, any affection she offers will be genuine and meaningful, not just a fleeting gesture. 9. If she doesn't choose you, walk away. Let's face it, if a woman isn't choosing you, she's already made her decision. And no amount of convincing, persuading, or chasing is going to change her mind. In fact, sticking around in the hopes that she'll come around only damages your confidence and self-respect. The harsh truth is that if she doesn't see your value now, she likely never will. And that's your cue to walk away. Too many men waste their time and energy on women who are indifferent to them. They think, if I just show her how much I care, she'll finally see my worth. But that's not how attraction works. When a woman doesn't choose you, it's not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of her preferences, priorities, or circumstances. And here's the thing. It's not your job to fit into her world. Your job is to stand firm in your own. Sticking around when someone doesn't choose you sends the message that you're willing to settle for breadcrumbs. It says, I don't believe I can do better, so I'll take whatever you're willing to give. But the truth is, you can do better. There's a world of women out there who will see your worth without you having to beg for it. And the only way to find them is by walking away from the ones who don't. Walking away isn't about bitterness or trying to prove a point. It's about recognizing when a situation isn't serving you and having the strength to leave. It's about valuing your time, energy, and emotions enough to not waste them on someone who doesn't value them too. When you walk away, you're reclaiming your power. You're saying, I'm worth more than this. And here's the beauty of it. When you walk away, you often become more attractive. Why? Because you're showing confidence and self-respect. Two traits that are universally appealing. A woman who sees you walk away will realize that you're not someone to be taken lightly. She might even start to reconsider her decision, but by then, you'll have already moved on to better opportunities. Remember, you're not here to convince anyone to choose you. The right woman will choose you because she wants to, not because you begged her to. If she doesn't, let her go. Walking away isn't just an option. It's the only choice for a man who values himself. 10. You're only as attractive as your self-worth. Your level of self-worth determines how the world sees you, especially women. Confidence, respect, and attraction all start with how you view yourself. If you don't see value in who you are, neither will she. And no amount of trying, pleasing, or pretending will compensate for a lack of self-worth. Here's the truth. Women are naturally drawn to men who carry themselves with confidence, not arrogance, but a quiet assurance that says, I know who I am and I'm comfortable with it. This doesn't mean you need to have it all figured out. It means you have to believe in your potential, in your ability to grow, and in your worth as a person. The problem arises when men tie their self-worth to external validation, whether it's from women, career success, or material possessions. If you rely on a woman's approval to feel good about yourself, you give her power over your emotions. And when she senses that, it's a turnoff. Why? Because no one wants the burden of being someone else's entire source of confidence. Think about it. Have you ever seen a man who just seems magnetic, even if he's not traditionally good-looking or wealthy? That's because his confidence radiates from within. He doesn't need others to affirm his value. He knows it already. And that inner assurance is what makes him attractive. But here's where self-worth truly gets tested. When things don't go your way, maybe she doesn't reciprocate your feelings, or she pulls away unexpectedly. A man with high self-worth doesn't crumble in these moments. He doesn't beg, plead, or lose himself trying to win her back. Instead, he recognizes that her actions don't define his value. He respects himself enough to move forward, knowing his worth isn't tied to any one person or outcome. Raising your self-worth isn't about ego, it's about growth. It's about setting boundaries, pursuing your passions, and taking care of yourself, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's about knowing that you deserve respect and refusing to settle for less. When you believe in your own value, others will too. Women in particular are drawn to men who respect themselves because it shows they're capable of respecting others. So, if you want to be more attractive, start by looking inward. Build your self-worth and the rest will follow. Here's the bottom line. If you have to persuade a woman to be with you, she was never truly yours to begin with. Relationships built on persuasion aren't built on mutual respect or genuine attraction. They're built on compromise and desperation. And that's not the foundation for anything meaningful. You are a man of value, but only if you act like one. Stop chasing, stop convincing, and stop lowering your standards just to keep someone who doesn't see your worth. Instead, focus on becoming the kind of man women want to choose, not the one begging to be chosen. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found yourself trying to persuade a woman to stay or choose you? How did it play out? Share your story in the comments. I'll be reading each one and connecting with as many of you as I can. This isn't just about me talking. It's about starting a conversation where we can all grow and learn from each other. Remember this, the right woman will never need to be convinced. When you stand firm in your worth, you attract the relationships you truly deserve. That's the ultimate power move. Thank you for watching, and as always, this is the Stoic approach to life.